Do you smell that, guys? Yu-Chen, come here, quickly, come here, quiet.
What's going on? Smell what?
Do you smell it? Spring is here.
Not at all. Look around you.
As a Canadian, spring is here. And behind us, we have the all-new 2019 Mazda 3. Let's roll the clip. Now, ever since the debut of the Mazda 3 at the International Auto Show, I was always curious and wonder why this car looks so sharp, right? I mean, the Mazda 3 has always been a crowd favorite for younger generations because of sleek design, great fuel economy, and affordability. And I feel like with the reintroduction of the all-new Mazda 3, it looks so much better than the previous generation. And today, we're looking at the GT trim line with the premium package all slapped together, and courtesy of Mazda of Richmond Hill. Now, everything you're looking at here today is about $32,000 Canadian in the Canadian market. And one of the most notable features with the premium package is the piano black finish grille in the front. I mean, for a lot of the grills, I feel like when you touch them, they feel very plasticky and it feels very cheaply made, right? So by touching the grille over here, I honestly feel like it's very sturdy. And even though this is plastic, I feel like this is more of the hard plastic, and I don't feel like it's cheaply made whatsoever. So great job on this division, right? And on either side, you'll notice in the newer generation, the headlights are a little bit squintier, a little bit sleeker, and they're done by AWD as well. With the GT package, you have adaptive frontal headlights, pretty cool for the all-new Mazda 3. Now, the Mazda 3 design truly shines when you look at the side profile of the vehicle, and you notice that it's a lot more stands out, a little bit lower than the previous generation. And because we're looking at the GT trim line, you have a set of 18-inch alloy wheels done in like a metallic gray finish. I honestly feel like Mazda could improve on in the future, especially when you're at the signature or the GT trim line, to offer more wheel designs, right? So if you're gonna pay that kind of package or pay that kind of money, I wanna feel different than the rest of the vehicles or the rest of the Mazdas on the road, right? And all new for the Mazda 3, you have a side splitter right underneath the side skirt. Now, I noticed with the rear quarter panel, the way it designs that this curvature follows all the way onto the door. So here's something I don't really quite understand on the design element of the Mazda 3, right? So if you were to damage this door, it's quite intricate and unique because its curvature extends all the way to the door versus other cars. The rear quarter panel circles finishes at the rear quarter panel. It doesn't extend all the way to the door. So if you know why this is the way it was designed like that, just let me know in the comments, and I want to educate myself as well, right? And the rear bumper reminds me so much like the Miata MX-5. I mean, it's more compact, more sloping and sleek, and what I love about the rear side are the taillights with the 4 bulbs right behind it, right? Kind of look like a machine looking at you, like eyes about to shoot out some lasers, right? You can notice more lettering, designation for the Mazda 3, and the all-new SkyActiv-G technology, which we'll talk about once we get inside. You'll also notice the badge on the rear side is a little bit more grooved out, and behind it or below it is where you can open up the trunk. Honestly, for the trunk of the Mazda 3 is very, very spacious, and the seats do fold 60/40 as well when you pull on these 2 levers right here. Now, I feel like Mazda is one of the only manufacturers out there that really cares about the driving experience for the driver, right? I mean, looking at the all-new interior design, it feels a lot more sharper and modern as well. One key notable feature I noticed about the cockpit of the driver is that everything surrounds you, and I really, really appreciate that, right? I mean, for one, the air vents over here are a little bit separated. With my passenger, you can see over here, it's angled towards me. My steering wheel feels nice and sharp. great firmness on my hand. And I'm a passenger, even though this car is equipped with dual zone climate control, they have their own individual air vents, right? Pretty small details here for you to consider and why they designed it like that, right? Because we're looking at the premium package, this car is equipped with leather seats, feels very comfortable, and 10-way power adjustable seat with the memory seat option. This car is also equipped with 12 speakers from Bose audio system, and the design on the Bose audio system over here, the kind of a mesh aluminum material-ish, very sophisticated as well, right? So I think for 32K Canadian, it packs a lot of value for this car. Now, since the redesign of the Mazda 3, the steering wheel kind of feel like, to me, they've simplified with a lot of the things, right? I mean, for one, they've added more sophistication and luxury touches to it with more of this, aluminum metal buttons over here. And they've also added the adaptive cruise control, which we want to test it out once we get on the road. But overall, this oval shape feels very driver or cockpit or whatever oriented, making me feel very in tune with the car. And the center console over here has been completely redesigned as well, right? For the transmission gear selector, it's still the old-fashioned stick shift. I like that a lot. Beside it, you have your sports mode and your off. And one of my favorite features in cars found right behind it is the auto hold function. Love it, love it, love it. And what I don't like about this car is that whenever you park your car, the parking brake is automatically on, but as soon as you go from park to drive, you have to manually disengage the electronic parking, versus my Corolla, it's automatic whenever you switch from park to drive. So that kind of creates a little bit inconvenience from drive to park. I mean, from park to drive. Holy crap, guys! I'm just so excited about spring, right? And beside it, you have this 4 kind of division over here where you have your navigation, music, home button, very elegant with a big scroll so you can play around with some of the information right ahead of you, right? And beside it, you do have your volume control or your volume knob button. But this kind of elegance truly shines with the material that surrounds the scroll, right? It feels very nice onto your hand and very Lexus and BMW-like. And looking up ahead, you do have your brand new 8.8-inch display screen. And this kind of elevation or kind of distance reminds me very much of the Lexus platform in their SUVs, right? So great saturation. Unfortunately, they took out the SD card from the dealership, so we can't really show you guys what the navigation looks like. But also what I noticed about this kind of armrest over here is that you can't open it until you shift it all the way back, and then you can open it. Some kind of design element over here, I think, I don't understand it, but the compartment over here fits a lot of stuff. And you do have a USB charger over here, which is compatible for Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. But this car is not equipped with wireless charging. And looking at this middle division here, guys, it feels very congested, a little bit small. Of course, you have your dual zone climate control, you have your heated steering wheel, heated seats, and some additional fan options right on top, right? And below it, you will find a pretty far reached out 2 cup holders, a little bit removed from the driver and the passenger. So I think this, to me, is a little bit weird, but look at the air vents for the passenger. That's cool, right? I mean, for the second row, it's actually quite spacious, not too bad. The leather extends all the way to the back as well. Very soft and easy to sit on, right? In the middle, you do have some elevation, so you do have to put your leg up if you want to sit in the middle of the second row seat. And I like how Mazda extends their soft touch or the leather component to their doors, right? So the grab handle feels very soft. On top of it, where you're opening your doors in this little bit compartment, it feels very soft again. And I think these kind of brownie points that a lot of manufacturers tend to miss out on and don't really pay attention to these things or even care at all. So I think, and I appreciate Mazda for doing or paying or doing these little things. So me, myself, who I pay very close attention to in these small details, truly shines and make me understand that, wow, this is a step above than its competitors who don't even care about these things, right? Before we take this car on the road, I just want to quickly point out 2 things. Number 1, how nice my sweater is. We're finally adding some colors to our wardrobe. I know, a lot of people are saying that I wear black and white. I want to add some colors to it. And number 2, Mazda claims that this is their quietest cabin, period, in any of their Mazda lineup. So I honestly feel like the build qualities inside and outside makes me feel very rich and luxurious. And for $32K, it packs a lot of value. And to be honest, guys, I'm sitting here, the road is right next to me, and I barely hears anything. But who knows? Once we put this car on the road, and then maybe some road noises will enter here and there, but we'll see how quiet the cabin is once we put this car on the road. So let's go for a drive. We're about to enter 404 North. First thing I'm gonna do is kick this on sport mode, slap it over on manual. So I'm gonna engage myself with the paddles, downshift, and let's go. Wow. Wow. And I honestly want to refer back to my point earlier with how Mazda claimed this is the quietest cabin, and even with the amount of wind noises outside, it's very diminishing or very minimum on the interior cabin, right? And today, this car, we have a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder SkyActiv-G technology engine in the Mazda 3. Yes, guys, naturally aspirated. I know turbo engine has been making quite a bit of a stance here in Canada or in the recent vehicles and models, but I crave naturally aspirated engines, right? And this car will produce 186 horsepower to torque, exactly 1-to-1, and I love that as well. And I realized when I drive this on the manual mode, whenever I switch gears to the next gear, there is about a quarter of a second delay or rev hang, however you like to call it, right? So I feel like that could be improved. This is the 6-speed automatic transmission, so there may be some kind of improvement in the future years or generations, but the pickup speed, great. Road noise, minimal, and I feel like the handling makes me feel a little bit more or less in control. So handling and transmission could be a little bit better, but power, torque, everything is all there. And I honestly feel like its competitors are the Honda Civic or the Toyota Corolla. The pickup speed isn't as good as the new Mazda 3, right? So this definitely has a lot more driving pleasure in comparison to the Civic or the Corolla. And its SkyActiv-G technology is absolutely fantastic and tremendous when you read it more about it, right? So in this version, in comparison to the previous SkyActiv technology, it is 15% more fuel efficient. The compression ratio has been gone up to 13:1. That's where you have more low to mid-range torque. Perfect. And this car, for the first time ever, have cylinder deactivation, which means that on a cruise control mode or some light driving, the first and the fourth cylinder will be shut off, so only the second and the third will be inactive for better fuel economy, right? So we see that in the Honda Pilot, in more of the other vehicles, but for sedan, especially for its price range, to have cylinder deactivation is quite impressive, right? And also, for the first time ever, we have actual heads-up display. Do you guys remember when Mazda came out with this cheap design plastic pop-up over here and they claim it heads-up display? So thankfully, that's all gone. It's displayed right ahead of you onto your windshield. So thank you for doing that. So we're about to test out the radar or the adaptive cruise control. I have that cruise control on. I'm gonna slap it at 103 kilometers, and look at that, right away this car slows down in relation to the car in front of me, right? So I currently have the closest possible with the distance, right? So this is how far you get, and right now it's picking up speed. This car is changing to my lane, recognizes it, and is applying brake right away. Very responsive. I like it a lot. I think Mazda has done a great job with the radar or the adaptive cruise control, whatever you like to call it, right? So the adaptive cruise control or the radar cruise control in the Mazda 3 works fantastic. Love it. It calculates the road or the vehicle in front of you right away. Even when someone cuts in front of you, the car will recognize that right away and apply brake pressure when you're on the adaptive cruise control. And once again, guys, just because your car has navigation doesn't mean you have the same resolution, saturation, the iconic software backend, all that stuff, right? So different tier for technology. I will appreciate it when I have the best possible design from the manufacturer, and when they're confident enough to bring it out for me to enjoy, right? And for the first time ever, guys, this car has an optional all-wheel drive system. 27 sensors, I think, and calculates the road conditions 200 times per second. What's really cool about its all-wheel drive system is it has torque vectoring, so it will only use all-wheel drive when it's needed, and it will only send power to the wheel that needs more torque, right? So other than that, this car will be more front-wheel drive biased because Mazda has a long history of great fuel efficiency, right? But all-wheel drive in a sedan in its class, besides Subarus, who else is offering all-wheel drive in its class, right? So 2019 Mazda 3, I do encourage everyone to get inside, experience the cockpit that I'm driving right now, and see how it surrounds you, how it's very oriented towards the driver, and really just look at the freaking air vents. This is the third time saying this, right? So the air vents are just like an eye-opener. It's like, it clicks me right away that here's me, here's a passenger, we're both enjoying inside this quiet cabin. So if you've made it this far, guys, thank you so much for watching the all-new 2019 Mazda 3. And if there's anything that you guys like that I may have missed, leave it in the comment section below, and make sure you hit that subscribe button and help us reach to 10,000 subscribers. My name's Ranzit, and I will see you on a brand new episode of Cold Start next Saturday. One take! This is one take!